Praise be to Jesus Christ and welcome to Catholic Forum. I'm Deacon Jim Thorndale. I want to welcome all of you that are watching on public TV and those that might be joining us on podcast. Tonight we have an interesting conversation because we think in our Catholic Church, we think of ministries. We think of ministries of extraordinary ministers. We think of music ministry. We think of music of those hospitality. But very seldom do we think of a ministry that would be entertainment. Those that would entertain us through their work of ministry and also bring the gospel alive through their entertainment. And tonight I have just such a man in here, and I want to welcome Jim Cruz. He's with us today.
Hello, Deacon Jim.
Thank you for being with us. I appreciate it.
Great to be here.
So here you are in this ministry of entertainment. And so let me ask you this first. I'd like to have people get to know you a little bit. Growing up, raised Catholic?
Raised Catholic, yep.
Both parents
Both
Catholic?
parents were, yes.
Okay, where did you go to
St.
school?
Pius in Granville.
In Granville?
Yes.
Any siblings?
Yes, I've got 2 sisters and a younger brother. I'm the oldest.
Praise be to God. Okay, good. So you're growing up. Was anybody else in your family tied into an entertainment ministry?
No.
No?
No, it was unusual because when I was in high school, I was never in any plays or in the choir or
Really?
band or orchestra or anything like that. And now this is what I'm doing, somewhat musical entertainment, comedy for a living. So.
When did you feel God's presence start to call you into this type of ministry?
Well, you know, as far as the entertainment goes with the spoon playing aspect of it, I wanted a drum set when I was a kid.
Okay.
And my parents wouldn't buy me one.
Okay.
So both of my grandfathers used to play the spoons, so the spoons ended up becoming my imaginary drum set that I never got.
Is that right? So you got into this role of the, and I see we have something on here called the Spoon Man. This is what it is. What I'd like to do is just show our audience a little short video clip of what it means to be the Spoon Man. So if we go ahead and show that, we'd appreciate it.
That was about 20 years ago.
Interesting. So that was in Texas you were doing that.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So when you started this ministry, how did you tie that into a ministry for God?
Well, with my program itself, it's a musical comedy show.
Okay.
So when I do a program for whether a Catholic church or a Catholic school, 75% of my program is going to be music and comedy.
Okay.
25% is going to be message.
Okay.
And I typically have the message sandwiched right in the middle of the program.
Okay.
So we start out doing the fun stuff and the audience interaction.
Okay.
And then we give them a message, whether it's about the Eucharist or some of the other sacraments.
All right.
And then we finish up doing some more fun stuff. And then we do a quick review of what we talked about.
Okay. Now you're talking about the fun stuff. Did you bring any fun stuff for us?
I got my spoons.
Did you bring your
Jim.
spoons?
I got my spoons.
Show it what it means to play the spoons.
Alrighty.
We'd love to see that.
Could you hold out your hand for me?
Wonderful. Wonderful. That is interesting. And those are just standard spoons.
Just regular tablespoons, yes.
The kids must love that.
Oh, the first thing they do after watching my program,
Yes.
run to the kitchen drawer and grab out a pair of spoons.
And try and do the spoons.
Oh, yes.
So you're entertaining these children and that mesmerizes, I'm sure,
Yes.
because
and the adults too.
Of course,
Yeah, and
because
the
I
adults,
look
too.
at that and I'm thinking it looks simple, but I know just keeping them together would be a difficult situation. So when you're doing this entertaining in the spoons, you're going through that. What would be, let's say you're doing a show on, I don't know, what would be the message on this particular show of something that...
Well, for instance, like the Eucharist, it was the last I was out in the Boston area about a month ago, and church brought me in and I did a program on the Eucharist for 3 different nights. So.
Wonderful, wonderful. When you do these shows, I mean, let's tell the viewers that are watching this, you're available, right, to go to other parishes or functions, correct?
All over the United States.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And this is my 25th year doing this somehow by the grace of God.
By the grace of God.
Married with 5 children and a mortgage, and I support my family by playing the spoons.
Oh my goodness!
If that's not a testimony to Christ, I don't know what is.
Praise be to God. How old is your oldest child?
22.
22, and your youngest?
Youngest is 10.
Do any of them play the spoons?
You know, they all played the spoons a little bit.
Yeah.
I have 3 girls and a boy. My son is 20 now, but he probably traveled with me the most when he was younger.
Okay.
Like from the age of probably 5 to maybe 10 or 11.
Okay.
Usually when the kids become close to being a teenager,
right,
it's not at school anymore.
Right.
But they would play with me in my show.
I understand.
Yeah.
So, give me an example of what type of message you would deliver, something for the Eucharist.
For the Eucharist?
Yeah, what would you be typically telling these children? Or these
well, children and adults and the teens, yep.
Okay.
I talk about what the Eucharist is,
Okay.
the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Jesus.
Okay.
I bring up gospel. I bring up the Gospels, obviously, especially John chapter 6.
Right.
So
Bread of Life discourse.
Oh my gosh, yes, yes. And I talk to them about what the Eucharist has been to me in my life and the experiences that I've had, especially in adoration. Also talk about adoration.
Yes, that's wonderful.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so, how do the people respond normally to your message?
I always get real positive feedback back from my message because it's something, you know, when the kids see me or when the adults see me doing my comedy, it's just it's like an unusual mix.
Of course.
You know.
I find God in humor. So
yes,
it's
an unusual mix. So when I start talking serious, they're ready to listen to what I have to say.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that makes a difference on it.
Yes.
So you're kind of warming them up for the gospel message.
Exactly.
Getting them engaged with you.
Yeah.
So if somebody were interested in having you come entertain them, how would they get hold of you?
Well, you could go to my website, which is thecatholicentertainers.com.
CatholicEntertainers.com.
And that has all my information right there.
Okay, and it'd be Jim Cruz, and you'd see would that be your name in there coming up?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's my website. Yeah.
What's the latest show you've done?
Well, probably that the Boston area. Tomorrow I've got to go to Virginia. I got to drive to Virginia out there.
Okay.
So.
Okay, and will it be a school or is it?
It's a festival.
A festival?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So festivals.
Children's festival.
You also do festivals then?
I do festivals, yeah.
Any type of festival?
Any type of festival.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
I know that this is the CD you have out.
Yes,
How to play
DVD,
the spoons.
yeah.
I mean, How to play the spoons, music from the kitchen. What is this about?
That will teach you how to play regular household tablespoons.
Is that right?
Yeah, and it will teach you the different rhythms. I teach 10 different rhythms in the DVD. So.
Okay. Oh, wonderful.
And I sell those at my shows, you know, and after the kids or adults see me, they're very interested. Something else they're very interested in, too, is the trainer spoons.
Oh.
Deacon Jim, you can even do these.
Oh,
okay?
I see. This is set to go already.
Yeah, tap it on your leg and put your hand over top. So it's there you go. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. So these
are
already.
A little trick here. There you go. You got it. Yeah.
That's wonderful. So they can buy them like that too?
Yeah. Yep.
I would imagine the hard thing
spoons.
is to learn to use the regular spoons.
It takes
to hold them
practice.
together.
Yeah. It looks deceivingly easy.
How long have you been doing this, Jim?
Well, let's see. I started when I was 9, and I'm going to be 48 this year. So, been playing quite a long time.
But you've been spreading the gospel through this.
Yes.
I mean, that's a unique ministry.
Yes.
You think of all the ministers, here you are bringing the word of God to people who are also into the entertainment, but they love to hear that, don't they?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because it really draws them into the understanding of Christ and who He is.
What's crazy is, like I said before, I've been doing this for 25 years. I'm married with 5 children.
Yes.
25 years. I mean, that's Christ. There's no other way to explain it.
Exactly.
There's no other way to explain it.
Exactly. And so you've been married 25 years, 5 children, traveling a lot. How do you do it?
You should have my wife here.
Oh, really?
Well,
Yeah,
my
exactly.
wife, yes, my wife enables me to do this. So she's a big part of my ministry.
What a blessing.
Yep, she's at home with the kids and she's dealing, with the issues that families have.
Exactly.
So, she's a big part of having me be able to do this type of ministry.
Sure. Do you have other family support here in this around? You still have your parents alive?
Yes. Yep. Both of our parents are still here.
So they're probably supportive of what you do?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah. I graduated from Aquinas College.
Wonderful.
Back in 1988 with a business degree.
Okay.
And I told my dad I wanted to do this, and he wasn't very happy, no.
But he's since changed his mind.
Oh, yes.
You got this beautiful family now, committed to the Lord, and you have this faithful ministry of bringing Christ alive to young people and old people alike.
Absolutely.
But now you're also involved in something else that I find interesting.
Yes.
And this is the Christian Foundation for Children and Aging.
Yes.
Tell me about this.
This is an organization. It's a Catholic organization.
Okay.
And they sponsor. They get people to sponsor children or elderly people that financially can't make it on their own.
Okay.
So they have sponsorship programs all over the world.
All right.
And what they will do is they'll have a priest come out to a particular parish, and the priest will do like a mission, and the priest will talk about what they do as far as sponsorship goes. How I get involved is rather than having a priest come out, a parish would hire me to do a family event.
Okay.
And then the families would come out, and then part of my program would be talking about this particular ministry.
Okay.
And in fact, what we're working out right now is that CFCA would underwrite a portion of my expenses. So what we're working on is I want to make it as affordable as possible for the different parishes.
Of course.
Where a parish would only have to pay for my expenses. And out of that, $200 or I think is what they stipend for me to help cover expenses. So basically, parishes would be getting my program for free.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah.
So these children that they're sponsoring are all around the world, I would assume.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What type of commitment are they looking for at a parish level from somebody?
Well, they're looking for a monthly commitment. Financially, I believe it's $30 a month.
Okay.
And they're just looking for that long-term commitment and relationship.
Okay.
So what they're about, it's not, the money is important.
Of course.
Absolutely important, but it's about building the relationship with the child or the elderly person over the months, over the years. And you talk about a great thing to do as a family when you get together and pray for a little girl or a little boy. And you just have that become part of your routine, and the communication you have with them, even over the internet and the updates that they give you.
Yes.
It's a beautiful ministry.
So would they be trying to send you some pictures made of themselves, and you might reciprocate and send pictures of yourself?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So they get to know you on a personal level too?
On a personal level. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And with today's technology, it just makes it so much easier.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it does.
To communicate.
I'm sure it does. What's been the success of going into parishes with this?
This is a brand new program that they started.
Okay.
So for entertainers like myself, typically they have a whole bunch of priests that work for them.
Okay. And
the priests will go to the parish. What they want to do is they want to offer some different, unique, something outside of the Mass setting. Because typically, it's the priest in the Mass giving the sermon, and the sermon being part of the mission.
Yeah.
So what they're looking to do is to get outside of that and do like a family events and family functions.
Okay, so let's say you're going to go and do a show for the Christian Foundation for Children and Aging. How long would that show normally last?
Probably about an hour.
About an hour.
Yep, hour-long program.
You'll be playing the spoons?
Hour to an hour and 15 minutes, somewhere in there.
Okay.
Yeah, the spoon playing, the comedy, the audience interaction.
Okay.
A little video clip of about the organization, and a little talking about the organization, and also stewardship. You have to mention stewardship,
of course,
with something like this.
Yes.
So.
Do you draw some people out of the audience to engage them up on stage with you?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's always
I create a mountain band from 3 members of the audience.
Oh, is that right?
I usually get a couple students and one adult.
You got the jugs and all that.
I've had bishops in my mountain band, believe it or not.
Is that right?
Yes.
What a great ministry.
Yep.
What a great
Another
ministry.
thing that I do is flaming spoons of death, where I set my spoons on fire. See, look at that.
Yeah. Do I dare ask?
Flaming spoons of death, where I set my spoons on fire.
And then play?
And then play them on fire.
Oh, so people love that.
Oh, yeah.
Especially the children. They're probably wide-eyed when they see that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. So What does your schedule look like now? Are you booked up in advance, or what's going on?
Yeah, it really varies. Right now I'm booked solid probably through September.
Okay.
So, I start looking at things now probably October, November, and December.
Okay. Okay. That's important because you have to know what shows you're going to in advance. Does your wife ever travel with you?
Yeah, sometimes we do a family trip,
Okay.
where we'll bring the kids. We went out west a couple of years ago to the Badlands and Rocky Mountain National Park. So I had some work out there.
You did some shows out there?
Yes. Yeah.
What percentage of your work is through, say, Catholic schools?
Catholic schools compared to public schools, I'd say it's almost half, 50-50. Pretty close to it.
Excuse me. What is? Do you have any restrictions when you go into a public schools as far as talking about the Gospels? Or
well, when I go to Catholic school, when I go to public schools, I don't talk about Christ.
Okay.
But what I do is for instance, they might hire me to talk about respecting yourself and others.
Okay, good.
So the foundation is there.
Right.
I don't mention Jesus Christ.
Okay.
But Jesus' teachings
you have
there.
to consciously not do that. And you really have to think that through, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be tough.
do. I mean, I do say God bless you at the end of my program.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. But then Catholic schools would be a different venue.
Catholic schools, I can talk about Christ.
And that's wonderful.
Talk about the sacraments. And
Yes. So as you go through these times and you have this the show going on, would there be anybody else that would be on stage, another entertainer that you bring along with you, or are you the one-man show?
I'm just a one-man show and my audience participants.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The participants that I
And how much is done in Michigan? Have you hit many of the Catholic schools here in Michigan?
I have. Yep. Over the years. Yeah.
This is an important thing, and I would love people to have that website again. It's
CatholicEntertainers.com.
CatholicEntertainers.com, because I can see the value to this.
Yeah.
Particularly in grade schools and in high schools also.
Yep.
How are high schools? Are they accepting to this?
Oh yeah. Yep. I've done some of the diocesan youth conferences, all in different cities around the country.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. How are the priests? Do they sometimes show up for these?
Oh yeah, and they participate in my band. I mean,
You get them all going.
Yeah.
You get them all going. When you talk about your family traveling with you, if they're traveling, do you get them up on stage with you at all?
My younger daughter, who's 10, the youngest, she will play spoons with me. On stage. Yeah. But the other kids, they're they're above that now.
Oh, they don't want to do that anymore.
They don't want to do that anymore.
Have they looked at your video?
Oh, yeah.
To learn how to play?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they got that.
They know how to do it.
I'm going to have to take that home with me and see if I can learn to play that spoon, entertain my grandchildren.
They go.
They'd love that. They'd love
they
that.
would. Yeah.
So, as you're maturing and getting older, you're still looking. This will be. You'd like this to become a full-time ministry, correct?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So how can we make that happen for you?
Go to CatholicEntertainers.com.
Because I just think it'd be a wonderful thing for parishes and schools to have something like this. Because I know for a fact that all people really relate to humor.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
In a profound way. Because there's something in humor that speaks the truth, but it kind of envelopes it a little bit, kind of hides it a little bit, but people have an awareness of what you're trying to speak to on that.
Sure. Yeah.
What do you do do you upgrade your program? Do you constantly change it, or is it?
I add bits and pieces throughout the years.
Okay.
It kind of develops, some of the stuff that I keep consistently because it's good.
Yeah. and
it works. It works, and people.
Do you ever do return?
Oh yeah.
Shows?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you return on that too. Well, that's a good testimony.
And exactly, because there's so much out there for people, and for I've had a couple parishes out in New York City area, where they've had me back the following year.
Wonderful.
And usually people might wait a little bit, but
exactly.
Yeah, these parishes had me back the next year, so that's a nice compliment.
Do you have to do this at all through a booking agency, or is there anybody you work with this?
No, it's primarily myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So people going onto your website and finding it.
Yes. Well, there is a booking agency that I have worked with out of Ohio. I think they'll see it on my website.
Okay, it'll be there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, but when they get hold of you, they're going to be doing it online if they want to request a date.
Yeah.
There'll be a
well, my
calendar.
phone number's right there too, so they can email me. I got a
Okay.
link for an email link, or they
Okay.
can call me.
Would your website show open dates
No, it wouldn't.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
no.
So they have to get in
Get a
contact
hold of
with
me,
you after
yeah.
that, and then go into that, either call you or email you.
Yes.
See when you're available on that. If you were going to do it, you're going to be doing a show in Virginia.
Yes.
What typically would a show start? Time would it start?
Usually on a weekend event, it usually starts around 11 o'clock in the morning, and
Okay.
it might run till 3 or 4.
So you're doing one tomorrow in Virginia?
Not performing. I got to drive to Virginia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Saturday is when the show
Okay.
is.
Saturday's going to be performing.
Yeah.
Do you also perform on Sundays?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So if church wants you to perform on Sundays,
Yep. 7 days a week.
any type of social event.
Exactly. Potluck dinners and
Okay.
all that kind of. I've done so many different things.
Yeah.
Knights of Columbus functions.
Let me go back to this loving wife of yours, because this intrigues me.
Yes.
Because you're probably on the road quite a bit.
I am. Yeah.
What percentage do you think of the time you're on the road?
Well, typically I've been driving about 70,000 miles a year.
That's amazing.
I think a full-time truck driver might be 100 maybe, or
Yes, you're
110.
doing an amazing amount of driving.
I do a lot of driving.
And your wife normally stays home?
Yes, yep.
Okay.
She's at home full-time.
So if you had to give a percentage of time a month that you're away, what would that be?
Some months I don't leave. I'm home with no work.
Okay. Okay.
Other months I'm not home. Well, I might only be home 3 or 4 days out of the whole month.
Okay.
So it's really kind of like feast and famine
Yeah.
type of a thing. So it's a very hard balancing act.
Oh, I'm sure it
It's
is.
stressful for everybody, because as soon as you get used to me being home all the time, and I'm gone.
Then you're gone.
And then they get used to me being gone, and then I'm come home again. So yeah.
So if you could get some normality out of it, it'd be if you could spread those out so you're busy maybe 2 or 3 weeks out of the month, correct?
Right.
That would be easier for you.
Yeah, if you
to
could
have
do
that
it
type
that
of
way.
schedule.
Yeah.
And again, if we could get people listening to us tonight to have an understanding, if they want to go to CatholicEntertainers.com, they could get into at least be able to contact you for
Sure.
their social event coming up.
Right.
And have that understanding. What do you see? And I know it's hard to predict it, but what do you see for the future? Are there anybody else doing this type of work that you're doing?
There's some other entertainers out there. Primarily, there's a lot of great musicians,
Okay.
Guitarists or piano players or vocalists, but there's not a lot of unique like what I do.
Right.
There's just not.
Okay.
Do
you run into the other entertainers sometimes?
I do, yeah, at some of the conferences.
You see them there?
Yep.
And I'm sure you have. I'm sure they say the same thing about being on the road quite a bit.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah. That is a hard life. It's a hard life. I've in my prior life I was in sales. I used to travel around not only the United States but some international, and it was hard.
Sure.
It was hard because you're gone a lot.
Yep.
And the miles pile up very quickly, and so does the time.
Yes. And
so-
the older you get, the tougher it is to travel too. So.
Do you and your wife have a solid prayer life together?
We try to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was traveling quite a bit, my wife and I, no matter where I was, I would call her long distance and we would say a prayer.
Sure.
We learned to do that because it was still a necessity.
Yes.
Because with your job too, you still have to have that time together.
Right.
To put Christ in the center of your life.
Absolutely.
How about your children? How receptive are they to your traveling most of the time?
They grew up with it.
Yeah.
So it's just part of it. It's just kind of part of life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you're home, I'm sure you're a very active family. Mass on Sunday, they
Yes.
participating with that, a prayer life with your children and all
Yep.
that.
Yep.
What a blessing that
Yep.
is.
My daughter just made her confirmation. My
Oh, wonderful.
14-year-old.
Well,
Yep,
congratulations.
A few weeks ago. Thank you.
Which parish was that?
Holy Redeemer is where we are.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Oh,
In
wonderful.
Jenison.
Yes.
Yes.
That's a great parish.
Yes.
That's a great parish.
Yep.
The other ones, are they going through public schools, Catholic schools?
Public schools.
Which
Yep.
school?
Jenison.
Jenison. So they went through the RC, I mean, not the RICA program, but they're going through
Religious ed.
Religious
yeah, through
ed.
Holy Redeemer.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. And who is your priest out there?
Father Ron.
Oh, yes.
And Father Ron was on sabbatical when Pope Francis was elected.
Oh, is that right?
So he got to experience everything.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yes.
So he was there for
Blessing,
that.
yeah.
Oh, what a blessing that is to you and to the parish.
Yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
my goodness. Well, we're just, I'm intrigued by this whole ministry that you have, this entertainment ministry, because you're really the first one I've ever met in this unique position as this. But you obviously, the Lord has kept you very faithful to this.
Yes, I mean, there's been times where I start looking for other jobs, to tell you the truth about that, because you don't. You have your slow years and you have your good years,
yes.
and when things are slow, you say, Lord, where are you leading me? I don't understand. Why isn't any work coming in?
Right.
And then you start putting out resumes, and and then
of course.
Then somehow or some way the Lord provides, and somehow I'm still here. So I know I'm here because of Him. There's no other explanation.
Does your wife work outside the house?
She doesn't. No.
She doesn't.
No.
So you're the full-time breadwinner.
I am. Yeah.
So that is a trustful surrender to divine providence.
Absolutely.
That really you're putting your life in the hands of God in all things.
And that reminds me that when my dad worked at General Motors. He retired. I think he worked there for 32 or 33 years. And when I graduated from Aquinas, I said, Lord, I want a job where I can totally rely on you.
Yeah.
Because I saw my dad, it was consistent, year in and year out, year in and year out.
Right.
But I don't know, when I was younger, I was worried that my faith life, I just wanted something where I had to completely depend on the Lord.
Yeah.
And I got what I asked for.
Yeah, he's good about that, isn't he?
I got what I asked for.
And you know what? It's probably kept you closer to the Lord you can never imagine.
Right.
Because your dependency on His now is almost 100%.
Absolutely.
Because there was an old Jimmy Buffett song, and it said, if the phone doesn't ring, it's me. And it's really an understanding that, we're always waiting for something to happen.
Right.
And the Lord is bringing you to that faithfulness. Well, Jim, I just want to thank you for being here tonight. It's been an interesting story, and I would just ask that people would look at CatholicEntertainers.com. So I wish you well.
Thank
and
you
as
so
always,
much.
we give all praise to Jesus Christ in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.